communication somewhere around 9 o'clock Eastern time. That would have placed on the tracking. The shuttle would have been over the northeast portions of Texas, tracking toward, right on its ground track toward the Florida landing, of course.
All right. So what is part of the contingency procedures, Kyle? What is going on right now at Mission Control?
Well, Mission Control, I mean, it's a very detailed plan, obviously, but the first things to do is to pull out a contingency plan and start following that. The flight dynamics team obviously continues to try to make contact with its counterparts to see if they had seen anything. Obviously it's a very methodical approach and a very business-like approach, even in a contingency situation.
Now, we're told that this communication loss occurred somewhere over Texas. Are you, as part of that contingency plan, are they calling local authorities for any sort of search and rescue?
I do not know if that's part of the contingency plan, but it would not be, I would assume that something like that would be taking place, yes. The only additional information that I have is around that time we did, some of the flight controllers did report that some of the sensor data was lost, so on some of the hydraulic systems and on the shuttle, and that was the only additional information that we had prior to the loss of communication.
The key thing here is the shuttle operates on hydraulics as it comes in, and the key thing to look at here are the auxiliary power units, as you well know, which power those hydraulics. Do we have any indication, Carl, that there was any sort of failure or problem with those auxiliary power units as they were fired up ready for the descent?
No, we didn't have any indication of that. Like I said, the only indications we had is we lost some sensor data on some of the hydraulic systems that would indicate like tire pressure, those kind of things. So when you lost that sensor data, it was not too shortly after that, I guess, that we lost the communications link. So at that point, we didn't have any data to show any other, like APU, auxiliary power unit data, those kind of things. So at that point, we just had a total loss of communication.
Kyle, I suspect you're near CNN where you are. Let's take a look at this picture that we got from one of our affiliates as the shuttle streaked over, I believe, the Dallas, Texas area. I don't know that there's anything that you or I could discern from looking at that shot, except that I see multiple trails there, multiple trails. Reminds me a little bit of when Mir went down. What does that tell you? Well, obviously, you know, it'd be sheer speculation until we had confirmation, Miles, about that. Obviously, multiple targets is not something that you want to see. You know, I'd be foolish to tell you that that wasn't something that looked pretty bad. We always hope for the best, and we're just following the contingency plans that we can at this point, and trying to make any contact with folks that might be able to help us with this. Kyle, where does it go from here then?
Well, we're just going to continue to try to contact the folks that can help us, find out what happened, and make any additional procedures, follow any procedures that are necessary at this point under a contingency. All right, Kyle Herring, I'll let you get back to work. Phil Chen, I don't know if you're near a CNN monitor, but let's play that tape one more time. This is a very telling piece of videotape, and I'm hopeful that we can run this through the telestrator D in the control room. Phil Chen, can you see the video where you are? Can you see CNN?
Unfortunately not. We're in the bus going back
and forth. Here's what we're seeing that is a very significant and what you should look at. Multiple trails, multiple indication of multiple targets there as the space shuttle streaked over Dallas, Texas. I think that it doesn't take a lot of elaboration to tell you what multiple trails and multiple targets would indicate. Phil, anything to add on that?
Just that there's no doubt that we've had a bad day. You just can't lose communications with the shuttle. As you said before, everything's like clockwork with landing. It should have come across, even if all communications were close to the shuttle, it should have come up on the radars once it came over the Florida horizon.
All right, Phil, let's do this. If we could run through the scenarios here, that we got an indication. I don't know if you could hear Kyle Herring, but he was talking about some problems with the hydraulics that might have been indicated on some of the sensors there right before communication was lost. The shuttle's coming in without power. Auxiliary power units are actually controlling the power, generating power on them. Those auxiliary power units use a substance called hydrazine, among other things, to operate. What are the other areas that would be high on the list of things to look at as the shuttle is coming in?
Well, there's two auxiliary power units, as you said. They operated flawlessly on launch. They used one of them to take out the shuttle the day before for landing. They turn out all three during landing today. And those are used to operate the wings and elevons, basically the same as on an airplane. They help control the shuttle during landing. Obviously, if there was a major disaster on one of those, it would be a bad day. The shuttle is an electrically operated vehicle. It uses three fuel cells for power. It's not likely that all three could have failed, but that would certainly be a possibility.
All right.
But, there's no doubt something happened.
As we look at the very distinct and obvious signature of multiple targets, as is the term for NASA, meaning pieces, what are the scenarios that we'd be looking at?
I hate to say that, but the only obvious thing I could think of is some kind of a major...
All right, we're losing Phil Chan, and hopefully we'll get his cell phone signal back.